awakened consciousness is none other than our own true nature. It's never anywhere but right here. You can't get to it somewhere in the future. The part of you that imagines it's somewhere in the future will never be ready for it. So let all of that go, and always let all of that go, and give yourself to the practices always with the fundamental position that this is it. This is the moment of awakening, and that's not a special experience I'm trying to have. It's simply the embrace of who and what I really am, and that there's no other place to get to than this place.
Welcome to Meditation Changes Everything with spiritual teacher Craig Hamilton, a podcast exploring the deeper potentials of meditation practice and how it can change every aspect of human life. In this episode, Craig takes a closer look at one of the more confusing paradoxes of the spiritual path, the balance between effort and surrender. On one hand, having a dedicated spiritual practice is essential. It helps us focus, grow, and align with higher consciousness. But at the same time, true awakening is ultimately about letting go, not striving, and resting in the freedom that's already here. It's a tricky balance to navigate, and it's easy to feel stuck in the tension between trying and letting go. Today, Craig shares how we can approach this paradox in a way that makes space for awakening to happen naturally. He also guides us through a powerful meditation on surrender, inviting us to release control and discover what it really means to let go. We hope you enjoy the show. Here's Craig.
One way of looking at spiritual life or spiritual practice is that, there are practices that we can undertake to get us ever more prepared for spiritual awakening. That there are a lot of things we can do and practice that will sort of cultivate our character, our inner world, refine our mind, our feeling states, and our whole inner being to get us ever more deeply aligned with higher consciousness, with universal consciousness, such that eventually, if we do enough of that preparatory work, that higher consciousness will just burst through, because we've really gotten everything, we've sort of gotten everything out of the way that's stopping it, and so it will just show up. And there's a truth to this, and it really underlies a lot of the spiritual practice that's been done for millennia, and that many of us have done. We can do practices to cultivate our concentration, our ability to focus our attention. Many of us look at our inner world and we see it's just a disorganized, chaotic mess. The inner stream of consciousness, attention jumps from one thought to the other. We have emotional reactions that overtake us, and we just get swallowed up in, and we're just this sort of, anyone who's really studied the human mind and the human psyche sees that it's just this kind of swirling, chaotic kind of mess. And we've all experienced being a person and having all that going on. So doing practices that sort of teach us how to be more focused, more centered, less distractible, less reactive, more able to, be with all that swirling, chaotic mess and not be in reaction to it. All those help. It's been observed how we have a tendency to sit in kind of negative states often, focus on the negative, so we can do practices to try to reverse that by focusing on positive things, positive qualities. There have been many spiritual practices designed to get us to imagine these beautiful deities that are filled with resplendent positive wisdom and compassion, and how, putting our attention there kind of cultivates that within us, and again, makes us more aligned with the higher parts of ourself. There are things we can do, chanting practices that are designed to get us in a higher vibration. So again, we're kind of aligning with a higher vibratory level, and thousands of other practices that are all being done to kind of get us ready, make us more fit for spiritual awakening. So there's this whole dimension of spiritual practice and meditation practice that kind of fits into that and has benefited humanity immensely because of all that practice, and has, you for sure in some ways, prepared us for awakening, doing those kinds of practices. But then there's this confounding truth of spiritual awakening, which is that anytime we truly awaken, anyone who truly awakens, even briefly, what is discovered is that our awakened nature, our true nature, this profound, sacred, universal consciousness at the essence of everything, that is who and what we already are. That is already the case. That nothing we could ever do could generate that or cause that or give rise to that. That it is all, it's the enlightened consciousness is the very consciousness that's been having our whole experience for our entire life. We just didn't realize it. We didn't see it. It's called our true nature because it's what's really true about us right now, whether we know it or not, whether we're aware of it or not. And it's an arresting discovery for when we discover it for the first time. It often it takes our breath away, and we realize, oh my God, I've been looking everywhere but here. I've been searching everywhere but right at the very nub of the perceiver, of the experiencer, of the person I actually am. I thought it was outside me, and now I've realized it's closer than close. It's the very knower that I am. It's the very experiencer that I am. It's this person. It's me. Not in the sense of my life story, but the me who's been having my life story, experiencing my life story. That's the sacred essence of the cosmos, is that. I am that. And when we discover that, it kind of, often what people do is they immediately think, oh my God, all the spiritual practices I did were a big waste. They didn't have anything to do with this. They were actually taking me away from it because they were based on the assumption that I wasn't already here. They were rooted in some idea that I had to do something to get somewhere else that I wasn't already. And if only I had just, from the word go, just stopped insisting that there was something missing from this moment, just stopped insisting that I was not the one which I'm seeking, maybe I wouldn't have wasted those decades of meditation practice and retreats and workshops and everything else, because the truth has always been here and it's always been the same, and nothing I really did meant anything, had anything to do with this. I mean, this is a common realization, or kind of response to revelation or awakening. And in fact, it's something that has led a number of spiritual teachers throughout the ages, and many contemporary spiritual teachers as well, to sort of denigrate spiritual practice and say, call off the search right now. Any spiritual practice you're doing is just part of the delusion. It's part of the story that you're not awake. Your practices are pushing the truth of who you are. They're always pushing that into the future instead of stopping and embracing it right now. But that's led to its own set of problems, because for most of us, just the recognition of that once, or the discovery of the truth of who we are and how things are, is not enough to most of us aren't ready. I won't say it's not enough, because it's always enough, but we're not ready to embrace it. We're not ready to accept it. So we're, I hope you can get the paradox. The challenge here is that from one point of view, practice always is a postponement of awakening. And yet from another point of view, if we don't practice something, if we don't take up with intensity and with everything we have, if we don't undertake a conscious effort to embrace the truth of our inherent freedom, to give ourselves to it, to stop denying it. If we don't undertake some practice of doing that, it's probably only ever going to show up in fleeting glimpses, because the momentum, the habit is so strong. The habit of assuming this is not it, of looking somewhere else, of rejecting this moment in favor of a future better moment that we imagine. At its essence, enlightenment or awakening is it's a transformed relationship to all experience. It's a transformed relationship to being alive, to being conscious, to being a person. It's an utter reversal or turning over of the paradigm. And it shows up in very noticeable and very predictable ways. And it's something that we can undertake as a conscious meditation practice. And when we do it, when we really, really do the practice, then what we'll find is practice is no longer an obstacle, because we're no longer practicing pushing our awakening into the future. We're practicing accepting our true nature right now. We're practicing embracing the fullness, wholeness, sacredness of this moment as it is right now. We're practicing bringing our attention to the universal consciousness. We're practicing just accepting and embracing and noticing that's the consciousness that's always here. It's the only consciousness there is. So we're practicing not making the error of relating to it as just my personal consciousness that inhabits my little life story, but seeing it for what it really is, relating to it as it really is. But the reason I'm wanting to underline and really highlight this is that it's also very easy in any moment of any practice to start to relate to them and to relate to practice as something else, to start to think of it as, I'm going to do those practices. Hopefully I'll have a powerful experience of awakening, and then maybe it'll be so powerful that it'll start to permeate the rest of my life. And so I'm sitting here with an expectation of something happening, of getting somewhere, of experiencing something different than what I normally do, so that will hopefully transform me. Even practices that are designed to do the opposite of that, we can engage them in that way without realizing it. And so one of the fundamental orientation that I want to invite is to always be holding, challenging ourselves with, and really, inquiring into as well, noticing, how this all works, because we have to pay attention to what we're really doing, how it's all really working. Is to really come back to that core thing. We're here to sustain awakened consciousness. Awakened consciousness is none other than our own true nature. It's never anywhere but right here. You can't get to it somewhere in the future. The part of you that imagines it's somewhere in the future will never be ready for it. So let all of that go, and always let all of that go, and give yourself to the practices always with the fundamental position that this is it. This is the moment of awakening, and that's not a special experience I'm trying to have. It's simply the embrace of who and what I really am. And that there's no other place to get to than this place. So how do I engage with my experience right now in a way that no longer pushes my awakening and freedom into the future? So I'm going to lead us into our practice of this. So settling into a meditation posture that works for you. And we'll go ahead and begin. Also, I'll be offering occasional guidance throughout the period of meditation. So I'll be giving initial instruction, then giving you some time to be quiet, then offering some additional pointers throughout. And that's generally how I'll lead the meditation. So one of the most fundamental postures of awakening is what we call the posture of surrender, which we've defined as the humility to give up control. Many of us have been taught that the spiritual path ends with surrender, that in the end it's all about surrender. It's all about letting go. It's all about giving up control, allowing something greater to have its way with us. But in this practice, surrender is it's the end and it's the beginning. It's what allows all practice to occur. So in this moment, I want to invite you to completely give up control. Most of us spend our entire lives trying to control things, trying to steer things. It's how we accomplish goals. It's how we achieve success. It's how we get what we want. And some element of that is no doubt valuable in living a life out in the world. But here in meditation, we have a rare opportunity to let go of all control. Now, of course, we're just sitting still, so letting go of control of trying to achieve goals or make things happen in the world is easy and somewhat obvious. There's nothing you can accomplish or make happen just sitting still. So maybe that's just the simple first step. Just let go of trying to control the world or life or other people. Since you can't anyway, you're just sitting here. Just accept that there's nothing you can do about anything right now. Anything outside you. You can just let the world go. The bigger leap in meditation, the one that's much more subtle, is letting go of control of our experience. Often when we sit to meditate, we're trying to change something about the experience we're having during the meditation. Our mind, the presence of thoughts, appears to be an obstacle to meditation, so we are trying to make our mind quiet, or trying to take our attention off of our mind. Or there are certain feelings that we have that seem like an obstacle to meditation. Maybe we feel tension. Sometimes we start to tie ourselves up in knots when we sit in meditation. We feel very tense, anxious. Am I doing it right? My mind's busy. I shouldn't have a busy mind. I'm tense. I shouldn't be tense. I'm trying to meditate. Something's wrong. I need to change all this so I can meditate. The invitation here is to give up control of your inner world. Give up control of your mind, of your feelings, sensations. Give up control of your meditation. Just let this moment happen, however it is happening. The truth is, there's nothing you can do to control your mind. Thoughts arise of their own accord, automatically, mechanically. So, stop trying. Rest in the simplicity of the truth that you can't control your mind. Let that free you from any struggle with your mind, from any involvement with thought. You don't need to give thought any attention. Don't need to engage with it at all. It's just like background noise. You just let it be there without involvement or engagement. This is a practice of total non-resistance. Non-resistance to what is. Letting everything be as it is right now. Whatever you're feeling right now, let it be as it is. There is no feeling that is an obstacle to meditation, that is an obstacle to awakening. Meaning there is no feeling state you could possibly have that would block your true nature from being your true nature. Or that would prevent you from seeing it or knowing it. What a relief to not need to control anything about your feelings. To embrace them all. To allow them all. This means you don't have to worry about your feelings. You don't have to try to change your feelings. You don't need to give your feelings any attention in meditation. You can just let them come and go, which is what feelings do. They come and they go. They intensify and then they gradually are replaced by a different set of feelings. We don't need to work with them, process them, hold on to them, or push them away. We just allow the fullness of feeling to come and go. Surrender completely to this moment. give up any attempt to control anything. I now want to invite you to allow yourself to gently let go of the meditation posture.
If the approach to meditation we've been exploring today inspires you, you are invited to tune into a 90-minute online workshop Craig will be hosting called Meditation 2.0, The Miracle of Direct Awakening. In the workshop, he'll share a powerful new approach to meditation practice and guide you in a series of brief meditation experiments so you can experience it for yourself. You can listen to that at freemeditationworkshop.com. That's freemeditationworkshop.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, we hope you'll share our show with others. And please subscribe and rate us wherever you listen to your favorite shows. If you have a minute to write a short review on your podcast app, we would deeply appreciate your support. You can stay connected to the show by subscribing to our newsletter at meditationchangeseverything.com. Each week, we'll send you new audios and videos from Craig, and we'll also let you know when we release new episodes of the show. For a deeper experience of Craig's approach to meditation, consider joining our Awakened Life membership program. Each month, you'll receive in-depth teachings and guidance, including a meditation workshop, 4 guided meditations, and a live online retreat with Craig. And when you register today, you can receive your first month for 50% off. Go to awakenedlifemembership.com to learn more and enroll. That's awakenedlifemembership.com. Check out our show notes for links to all the ways you can stay in touch with Craig's work. Meditation Changes Everything is created by Craig Hamilton, Susan Fries, Morgan Dix, Stephanie Murphy, Will Bowman, and Richard Klein. From all of us, thank you for tuning in.